So basically PLSQL meant for procedural language, and you can say that is structured query language also. Okay, it's a language for SQL. So uh, we will learn what is the use of this actually. Okay, so it's a concept, or it's a kind of, it's a similar to one kind of some programming language kind of. Okay, it's not complete programming language, but yes, if you want to do SQL, I mean, if you want to execute the SQL statement, okay, through, I mean, or you can say in the flavor of programming, if you want to execute your SQL statements, okay, by in the flavor of programming language, then you have to go for PLSQL. It is a concept to provide the collection of statement as a blocks. So you can say collection of statement is nothing but the collection of SQL SQL statement. Okay, here I'm talking about SQL statements only. Okay, so in this you can have SQL statement as well as some procedural statement also. Here you can declare the variable also, you can instantiate the variable, what is variable, what is, okay, everything we'll discuss. We can define control statement also, we can loop also. Okay, there are some so in this procedural language basically four things are main. Like first is anonymous blocks, or you can say procedures, how to create your custom procedure. Okay, so we will see that. Also we will see stored procedure, and then we'll see what is triggers, and at last we will see what is cursors. Okay, so these are the, you can say, uh, I have categorized this entire PLSQL into these many topics. Basically anonymous blocks called as procedures, stored procedures, okay, triggers and cursors. Okay, so here what is anonymous block? Anonymous block, by the name itself it is saying, okay, some, so what is block first of all? So anything whatever you are writing, okay, should be come inside some boundary. That boundary is nothing but your block. Okay, so what is anonymous block? The block which is not having any name. Okay, so you can see that is as a procedures. Okay, how to create the procedure or how to declare the anonymous block, this is the syntax for that. Okay, this is the syntax. So you have to just write declare, and here already we have seen how to declare variable and variable initialization. These things we'll discuss in detail. So these operations, okay, these things we can perform inside this store, I mean inside these procedures. Okay, in the declare section you can declare the variable. Okay, now after declaration of all entire variables, okay, now because these variable will be used inside your statements. Okay, suppose if you are, anybody is familiar about any programming language like C++, Java. Okay, so something, if I am declaring this int I, int j something, okay, so these are just I am declaring. Okay, if you are doing int I is equal to 10, that means you are initializing those values. I mean correct. So what here it is, just, okay, it's not actual syntax, but something like this you will write int I is equal to 10. Always remember, whatever variable you are defining here, those variables and all will comes under this variable section, variable declaration section. Okay, the syntax to declare the variable is pretty different, but assume this, if you are declaring those variables, okay, so if in the programming language generally, if I want to print this value, so generally in Python we are writing just simple print I, and simply we are writing just print j. Okay, but in the Java, we are just writing system.out.println. Okay, and that's it. So we are not, so just like this. Okay, if you want to print something, so now this is kind of a statement, right? So this statement you cannot call, or this statement you cannot write inside the inside this variable section, variable declaration section. Okay, these kind of syntaxes you cannot write inside the variable declaration section. You have to write here. Okay, so some operation, whatever logic you want to write it here after begin. After begin, you write the logic here. If you want to do I plus j, whatever it is. Okay, I'm just giving example. If you want to, declare some variable, go inside this boundary. Okay, and if you want to execute, if you want to use the same variable whatever you have already declared, and you want to build some logic out of that about by using all those, okay, just come here and do that. Clear? So this is how actually your uh, this is kind of statement section. Okay, so 1 minute. So already we have seen this is the declaration section, and inside this you can declare all the variables. Okay, just like this. But these are not the actual syntaxes. We'll discuss this later. And this is the portion. This is the section where you can write your actual logic. Clear? And once everything is done, you have to say and colon, and then at last this symbol is must. This symbol is compulsory. You have to just end it. This is kind of delimiter. Okay, so and why I'm using these two, these are the comments. Okay, don't think that this is also equivalent to this. No, this is so this I'm using double slash for just to define the comment. That's it. Okay, and this is the delimiter which you have to use once you want to exit from your program, from your program basically. Clear? Okay. So, and yeah, so in Java already we know, if somebody of you maybe must, I mean, you must aware about the how to print some statement, system.out.println. Okay, and if you want to write something, you can write it here like this. Okay, similarly, this in this syntax is for Java. We'll discuss this syntax in Java class. Okay, what is this system stand for? What is this out? Where it is exist exactly? What is the use of println? Okay, and everything we'll see. Okay, but equivalent to this, the syntax here is this. If you want to do printing of some variable, something, if you want to print some value, you want to print some message, you want to print. Okay, then you have to go for this syntax. Okay, dbms underscore output dot put, and you have to put your message here. Clear? And you have to use single quote. In unlike Java, we are using double quote, but here you can specify in single quote only. Okay, clear? If you want to, yeah. So this syntax is equivalent to system.out.print. Have you heard about this? Only print. Have you tried ever? Okay, and this syntax is equivalent to system.out.println. What is the difference between these two? Okay, if you will not write println, okay, so the cursor will not go to the next line. And in this case, if you will print, automatically the cursor will shift to the next line. Okay, so this is the meaning of these two, and this the same difference is there. Okay, while using these syntaxes also. dbms underscore output dot put underscore line means it is uh, I mean, at last once your message is printed, the cursor will shift to the next line. Okay, you'll see with examples, but actually in my system, uh, Oracle is not working. Okay, so I can't show you the demo right now, but I don't know. Okay, so but yeah, before that, okay, if you want to print something, so before, I mean, if you are using it simply in your program, okay, somewhere here, if you are writing here, dbms underscore output underscore put, and here, if you will write something, hello world PL is equal. Okay, something like this. So by default, this message has to be printed on your console of the database. Okay, so dbms underscore output dot underscore put hello world PL is equal some message. Okay, so by default, these messages will not be printed until and unless you will not set the server output as on. Okay, if you will make the server output as on, then only you will be able to see all these messages on your console once you run this program. Okay, so 1 minute, let me just give 5 minute time. Yeah, so already we have seen the these many parts. Okay, in how many part we will cover PLSQL. First part is anonymous block, how to declare and how to declare these. Okay, procedure. So we'll see that thing is in later. Okay, but and first we'll see store procedure. Okay, how we will how we will say, I mean, how we'll create the store procedure, what is the exact use of those. Okay, so we can see these things in MySQL also. Okay, and just try to understand basic that we can declare the variables. Okay, we can initialize the variable also. Okay, there are some control statement. Okay, if else. Okay, so these things and looping statement. Okay, while, do while or something. So these kind of things also we can do. Okay, in SQL. So is the basic syntax. Already I have told you that in the case of Oracle, you have to just specify first declare, and then if you will write declare and then you have to declare the variables. Once the declaration is done, you cannot declare after this begin. Okay, if you are using something here, maybe I'm just writing here something, some programmatic approach. Okay, somebody, if somebody is familiar with string str is equal to some message. Okay, what is this message? My name. Okay, so if I want to use this str variable, if I want to use this, so here hello world. Okay, and or you can say instead of this hello. Okay, something like this, str hello Subrat. Okay, and I'm just continuing with my message. Okay, that welcome to PL SQL class. Okay, something like this. Okay, so here already we know this str variable is already declared. Okay, so before using this, just make sure this variable has to be present inside the declare body. Okay, so this is the body of declare. So here this variable always has to be declared. Once the variable is declared, okay, then you can use n number of time in the big after begin. So here in the statement section, you can use any number of time. You can write your own logic. Okay, inside this section. Clear? Okay, so this is just for example. Okay, don't worry, this is not the syntax to declare the variable and all, but just for your understanding purpose, I am just giving it you the example. Okay, we'll read some theory about this and then we'll go for the stored procedure and do some practice on stored procedure first today, and tomorrow I'll just see if I will be able to show you the demo on Oracle. Okay, or somehow I will arrange. Okay, that I'll take care. I'll have I'll see that later. So here now you can understand now to get the result onto the console. So this already I have told you, if you want to see these printed message, if you are writing some print statement here. Okay, if you want to print the message, these are the syntax: dbms underscore output under dot put. Okay, and some message. So these print statement if you are having here. Okay, in the case of Oracle, okay, by default, not only Oracle, okay, in the case of database, you have to first, in Oracle, this is the command: set server output on. Okay, so once you will do this, if you will make server output as on, that means you are enabling these print messages. Okay, you can enable these print messages. Clear? So this is how you can enable the print message. Now what we can do here is, uh, for example, okay, if I'm writing begin, okay, if I'm writing directly begin, see here, what is the syntax? Begin. So what I'm doing here, so here you can see I haven't declared anywhere, I haven't declared any variable. Clear? So if you just, I'm printing all these messages, that's it. Nothing I have declared here. If you want to declare, okay, if you want to declare, then you have to go for declare section. Right? So in this example you can see there is no declare section, just directly I'm using those print statement. Guys, any confusion? Anybody is having any kind of doubt or something? Okay, so here you can see, so these are some print messages. Okay, these are some print messages. Hi, hi students, welcome, welcome, welcome to PL SQL, and thanks. So some messages I'm just trying to print here. I'm not declaring any variable here. Okay, let me just see here. Yes, it is mandatory. So this is the delimiter. Okay, this is the delimiter. Okay, it is just indicating that if you are using this, if you are using this uh, slash symbol, that means you are saying this, my program is end. Okay, something like something, if you are writing class some test class, and if you are writing this, okay, automatically this also will be there. So this pipe symbol, I mean not pipe symbol, this slash symbol is equivalent to this. That means your program is closed. Clear, Sagar? Okay. Okay. Anybody is having any doubt apart from Sagar? Okay. So slowly we'll go further. Okay. So this is how you can print the message, but make sure there, here I am not declaring any variable. You can write like this also, null. Null means you're not printing anything here. Okay. Just writing null and semicolon. That's it. You're not using any print statement here. Okay. So now, so here you can see some example. See here, for example, okay, this is the begin. Okay, and all the DDL commands, because I have to declare these variables, right? So we'll see uh, how to declare variable one by one. But here, this is also one create table. Table name is student 5, some student table, ID as int, name as varchar. So already you can see you are just declaring these variables here, right? That's why I'm using this syntax, this line here before begin. So this is the statement section after begin, and before that, okay, before that you're just executing this syntax. You're just writing the DDL commands here. Okay, so this is how you can write. Okay, any doubt, guys? Anybody? Okay, so here we will see for Oracle. Okay, for these things we'll see the practical demo tomorrow. Okay, because as of now Oracle is not ready. So for these things, how we can declare the variable? We can declare some variable name like id, okay, and the corresponding data type. In the Oracle, we know what is the data type: int, number, something like that. Okay, so you can declare like this. Okay, or variable name, data type, and you can specify size also. Same something like id, int, name, varchar. Okay, you can declare the variable like this. Okay, and here you can just write, you can see here, initialize the variable if I want to provide some value into this id. Okay, so generally in the normal programming language, what we are doing here is id is equal to 100, that's it, right? Similarly, we have to do id colon is equal to 100. Clear? So this is only the difference here in the case of pl sql. And yeah, so this is the syntax. Now if I want to get the character from the keyboard, okay, I want, because uh, in the case of Java, if you know already, let me just elaborate 1 minute. If anybody is not familiar about this program, don't worry, I'll explain you in detail later. Don't worry. So here, if I want to take some argument from the user, okay, if I want to take some argument from the user, okay, so here this is the way, numeric, and provide the some variable name char. Okay, so this is a type. Okay, if it is a numeric type of variable, you just write here. Or if it is, if you want to take data from keyboard as a character, you just type char. If you want to take data as a numeric value, you can just write numeric and the corresponding variable name, something like this. See here. So here I can tell you. So I want to take the command line arguments. Okay, so by default we know this, we know here is, uh, this is the main array. Okay, this is the main array provided, and JVM will provide all this list of the all strings. Okay, so here if you will write system dot out dot println, okay, hello, hello, and you can write it here like this, args of 0, and thanks for joining this session. Clear? So this is how you, something like this we will write in Java. And how we will compile Java C student. Maybe this file I will save, okay, with the name of student.java, and then we have to run the class name. So what is the class present here inside this file, student.java? We know what is the class name, student. So that's why I'm passing student here. And now I have to pass some argument from the runtime only. Okay, so this is the run. I am running my application. I am running. Okay, so already I compiled here. We'll discuss in detail. Don't worry. Just assume that this is the command to compile the source code, and this is the command to execute my program. So Java student and something if you are writing here, maybe some my name, maybe, okay, something. So this will be, okay, it will go. So JVM will collect this value first. Okay, JVM will collect this value. Okay, prepare one array, and it will provide this value here. Okay, and when JVM will call this class, how it will call, student dot main. So internal behavior it is. I think you are not sure, you're not aware about this, but don't worry. So when it is calling this main method, already you know that there is one argument needed. What is this argument? One array type of argument is needed, then that JVM has to provide. And JVM is already having one array called ARR, or maybe some name. Okay, JVM created array. So the JVM have already created one array. This array, okay, JVM will pass inside the main when it will invoke the main method. When you will invoke this command internally, will JVM will do these many things. Okay, so here once you will write this, okay, so now it understood. Okay, so this is the string, this is one string array. Okay, and I am using the same string array of zeroth element. Okay, I am using here zeroth element of this particular JVM created array. So what is the element here in at zeroth position? Only one element, that is Subrat. So here what it is print, what it will print finally, hello, hello Subrat, thanks for joining the this session. Okay, so this is how your JVM will print this message. But before that, these many things will happen. Okay, without knowing your, I mean, without showing you all these things, you are just once you will hit this command, immediately you will get this message. Okay, so don't worry. This thing will discuss very in detail everything step by step. JVM internal architecture, how it is storing all those things, variable memory management, everything I'll show you. But here similarly, if you want to satisfy such kind of situation, if you want to uh, you know if you want to take the data from the keyboard, so here I'm taking this value from keyboard. Okay, so or you can say runtime argument. This is one example of command line argument. Similarly, you can take the value from keyboard like this. Okay, if you want to take the value from keyboard, you have to use variable name, and before that you have to use just and. What it is indicating? Okay, so it is the placeholder. Okay, we'll see this here. You can see what I'm writing declare. Declare means this is the declaration part. I have to declare the variable here. I have already declared the variable called student ID with the type data type. I already we know int. So student ID is of type int. Okay. Now s name. Two variables I have declared, sid and s name. Sid is of type int. S name is of type string. That's why I used var here. Correct? Of 12 length. And then we will write here begin. Okay, so begin, that means now you can't declare any variable after begin. Okay, already declaration part is over. Now your database engine knows, okay, these many variables are present, and you are using, if any of them if you are using, immediately it will check, is there any variable present with the same name? Yes, it is present. Okay, so it will see here. Now begin. Now you are initializing. Already we have seen the syntax how to initialize the variable name I is equal to 10, something like this. Okay, colon is equal to some value. Okay, similarly how we are initializing. Okay, so I already declared the variable. Now the initialization part is there. What is the difference between initialization and declaration? So see here, int I, that means I'm just declaring this variable, that's all. I'm not initializing it. Okay, and I is equal to 10. What I'm doing, I'm initializing this I variable, right? But if you're not writing this, if you're not writing this, compiler, or maybe here, if you're not declaring this variable here, and directly if you're assigning the value here, immediately your database compiler will give you left and right. What it will say? It will say, boss, there is no variable named called I present in my memory. Okay, there is no variable available with the name I into this memory now. Okay, so this I variable is not present, or maybe SID variable is not present. So make sure all these variables has to be present if you are using here. Okay, so yeah, and I is equal to 10. This is kind of initialization. I'm just initializing with some value. So here I'm initializing the value SID with, okay, so here what I'm doing, I can do something like this also, right? SID, because already we know SID is of type int, so I can declare like this, and I can initialize this also like this, right? SID is equal to 101. But instead of this, what I'm doing, I am just taking this value from keyboard. Okay, I am taking this value from keyboard. Okay, so how to take the value from keyboard? Already we have seen variable name, and before variable name you have to use and symbol. Make sure. Okay, so what it is indicating, it's a placeholder for this SID. Whatever value will come from keyboard, it is the just placeholder for that particular variable name. Okay, and make sure if this SID value is of type numeric. Already we have seen, if it is numeric, you don't have to you don't have to use this code, this single quote, right? Since it is an integer value, that's why I'm not quoting it with single quote. Okay, so similarly you can see s name is of type string, but this is the type of character, it's a character, right? So here and s name. It is again one more placeholder for s name. Okay, and I am just enclosing it with single quote. Okay, and now after taking this value, what I want to do, take this data and insert this record into the particular table. So this is my uh, one simple task that I'm doing here. So I think now you are understanding, right? Now you have some basic idea. Okay, what is the use of PLSQL? What is the use of anonymous block? Any confusion, guys? No doubt. Okay, Ullas is saying no. What about others? Clear. Fine. So if you are clear with this, okay, we'll discuss in detail further. Okay, now, okay, fine. So this is how we can declare the variable. This is how we can initialize the variable. If I want to take the data from keyboard, this is the way how to define the placeholder. Placeholder just, okay, it is just indicating that it is the placeholder to take the value from keyboard. That's it. Okay, so we'll see. Now next example, declare. Already we have declared one SID variable. S name is of type varchar, and here in the same line, what I'm doing, I'm just initializing. Okay, so in the declare section, you can initialize also. There is no problem at all. But make sure, okay, but make sure it is the declaration as well as initialization. Okay, so make sure you cannot declare the value here. You cannot write like this. City varchar. You cannot write like this. Okay, if you want to do this, you have to declare somewhere here in the declaration section only. Clear? Okay. Also you can initialize in the same line. What is the problem? Okay, if you are declaring int I, okay, if you are declaring int I, what is the problem if I'm writing int I is equal to 10? It is declaration as well as initialization also, right? So this is how we can do here. Okay, and begin sid value, I am just hard coding it as a 102. I'm not taking it from keyboard. I'm just hard coding the value here, and see here, insert into the table name values sid comma s name. Okay, and at last and slash. Okay, clear, right? Similarly we can see here also, because already we know what and all the data type we can use. We can use int also, we can use number also. Okay, so this is the way. I'm taking three variable a, b, c, and then begin. A is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, c is equal to a plus b. Now I'm typing c. So you know, it will print the sum of these two values. Now my requirement is, I don't want to hard code the value here. What I want to do is, I want to take this value from user a, and you have to write like this. Okay, placeholder for a and placeholder for b. Automatically the value will come, and I am doing here c is equal to a plus b, and like this. This is a more dynamic program. Okay, so at runtime it will ask for to enter the value. Okay, and then you have to provide a and b. Any doubt? So like this we can define. Next example is also like this. Declare, okay, well, int is equal to 2. No problem, we already know. So here you can see here there is one variable called well. Okay, instead of sid id name, this time I'm taking as well, is of type int, and I'm declaring it, I'm initializing with the value 2. Similarly, one more variable nm1 is of type varchar, length is 15. I am giving the value some okay, I am giving some value here, and begin. Okay, now I can't declare. Already declaration part is over. Okay, and here insert into this table values this. all the variables you can pass it here. Okay, and so why this is important here is because once you will learn while loop for, okay, some looping kind of concept, and maybe you want to insert 100 values at a time. So for manually it is not very easy to, it is not that straightforward. Okay, that you can enter it very easily. Okay, it is not that straightforward. So we can take the help of, okay, anonymous block. Okay, so similarly here one more example. Okay, so I think you are not aware about this syntax. Insert all into the table name. You have already you are aware about this syntax, right? Insert into table name, some column name, SID, S name, city, and phone. And I want to insert multiple values. Okay, I want to insert multiple values. So this is the syntax. I used to use this. I think you remember it, right? So this is the syntax to insert multiple values at a time in the MySQL case. Okay, in the case of MySQL. So there is one more syntax. Okay, there is one more syntax. This is for MySQL. Now there is one more syntax. Okay, for Oracle. What is the syntax? Okay, insert all into table name. Okay, some table name, and then you can see here values, insert all into table name values, and like this. Okay, like this. It's not that straightforward in the my, how we are doing in MySQL. It's not that straightforward. See here, always you have to write insert all into student values. Okay, and here you have to provide the value again. If you want to insert into students, this is some lengthy syntax actually, and again you have to provide, and again if you want to insert some more into students and values, and again you have to provide. Okay, and if you want to again insert some more value students, okay, values, and this syntax, at last you have to write select star from dual. Okay, so this is the syntax to insert multiple values at a time. Okay, I have already covered this thing in my notes. Already I have prepared the notes. I need to take the I need to print this material. Okay, don't worry. So you can see here I am having entire notes now for you guys. Okay, so I have very, neat and cleanly, prepared it. You can see here all the things you can see, and CRUD operation we can see. Okay, inside the CRUD operation there is syntax to insert multiple. See here, inserting multiple records by using single insert statement. In the case of MySQL, okay, very straightforward syntax. Okay, it is not that much lengthy. But in the case of Oracle, you can see here, in the case of Oracle, insert all into table name, columns, values, and all the values into table name, columns, values, and all the values into table name, values, and all the values. And at last, okay, wait 1 minute. Okay, now we'll see. See here, insert all into table name, columns, values, and all the values into table name, columns, values, all the values into column name, or sorry, into table name, columns, values, and all the values. And at last you have to write select star from dual. So this is the example. Insert all into student table, these columns, values, and all the values into, and see, but this syntax is more dynamic. Okay, every time you can insert uniquely, uniquely. So in first record I want to provide only s name and s name and fees value, but next time in next record I want to give only SID and status, not S name and fees. So you can change it here, the column name also, and corresponding value you can give here. And similarly, this time, at last I'm inserting SID and status, and here SID and status, and at last select star from Google. So this is the command actually to insert the multiple record into Oracle. Okay, any confusion? Okay, so these notes are prepared. I will take the copy of that and I'll provide you. Don't worry. So yeah, so here in Oracle you can see, so similarly we are doing here, declare sid int is equal to placeholder of sid. Okay, begin insert all into student 25 values. Okay, 105 some value into this, so something like this. Okay, so instead of this what I can do here is, already we have defined the variable called sid, so here we can do sid directly. Okay, sid plus 1. Okay, and here also I can do sid plus 1. I think you must have, I think you can get it now. Okay, anyway, if you can remove this, it make no sense as of now, because in both the cases sid will remain same. Clear? Now this one more example we will see. Declare, declaration part, sid1 is of type int, and the value also I'm taking from keyboard. Okay, so I don't think that you are having any confusion here, because already we are doing instant, we are just declaring as well as instantiating, initializing this particular value with some user input from keyboard. Okay, in the same line. Clear? Similarly, s name is of type varchar is equal to s name. Okay, and this value will come from keyboard because here I have defined as a placeholder. Clear? sid2 int is equal to sid2, again it's a placeholder. You can observe here it is a int type, that's why I'm not using any quote, but it is a string type, I'm using single quote. So sid2 integer type, I'm not using any single quote, but sname2 it's of type string, or you can say varchar is of length 10 is equal to placeholder, and I'm encoding with single quote. Begin. Now multiple records I'm entering, okay, at a time. Insert all into student 25 value sid1 sname1 into student value sid2 sname, select star from Google. Already we have already discussed, this is the syntax to insert multiple record at a time in Oracle. And like this also you can do, you can create one anonymous block, collect the value from user, and like this you can insert this, insert the record. Okay, so this is how you can declare anonymous block. Similarly here also declare as int, okay, and some value, and delete from student where sid is this. Simple, right? So similarly here declare, declaration section, val is of type int, nm1 is of type varchar. Okay, here I'm taking the values from keyboard. Okay, and just initializing here. Declaration part is over, initialization I am doing here. You can do initialization here also, as well as you can do initialization in declaration part also. Okay, and at last I am updating student table, sid is this and s name is this, where sid is 101. Clear? So this is one more example. So similarly, these are these are few examples. But see here, now declaration part is open. Val int, val is a one variable, nm1 is one variable, and I am taking collecting value from user through keyboard. Okay, like this using placeholders, and now I'm printing some values. Okay, dbms underscore output dot put val, dbms underscore output dot put comma. So you can see here I am not using underscore line here. So in this case, if you are giving the val value as a 10, if you are providing the val value as 10 at runtime, so what it will print? Okay, 10. Okay, and cursor will not go into next line, it will stay here only. Then immediately which command you are issuing? dbms underscore output dot put, and again you are giving space, comma, comma, and again space. So how it will, so already cursor will here space, comma, and space. Okay, and then what is your next command? dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. This time you are using underscore line. So whatever, suppose if you are giving the nm value as some string, okay, some string. So this time, okay, your output would be subrat. Okay, 10 comma. Okay, let me just take it here instead of there, kind of. Okay, so now here, okay, now the cursor will go to next line because you are using underscore line also. Okay, so here with cursor will go to next line. Now what you are doing here, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, and we are printing the value of, you are printing the value of val variable. What is the value of val variable? 10 only. So you are printing again 10 here. Again next line, because already you have used underscore line, right? Now dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, again you are printing the name only. So next line name will be printed here. You can see in the last line, because again cursor will go to the next line because already you have used underscore line, that's why. Now here what is the next command? dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. Okay, so after printing these things, cursor will go to the next line. This is the meaning of this syntax. Now id is, okay, you are giving just well, okay, and so here how it will print? id colon space 10, okay, and comma name colon, what is the name? Some name. Okay, so this is how it will print. At last what you are doing, you are just inserting this record into the table. So that's, once all these things will be printed, at last that same record, okay, val variable and whatever value, whatever the value are present into this variable will be inserted into the student 25 table. Okay, and at last and slash. So this is how the output will be. But by default, these all print statements are disabled. So make sure that, okay, before writing this program, okay, you write it here as set server output as on. If you will do set server output as on, this time all these print statements are enabled. In this case, you will see all the output on your console. Okay, also records will be inserted into this table. Clear? And yes, so we'll see this thing later. Okay, so any confusion guys till now? Any doubt, any confusion, any problem you are facing while understanding what is the PL SQL, what is the use of anonymous block, what is the procedure, okay, what is trigger, what is cursor? Trigger and cursors and store procedure we'll discuss later. Any doubt in anonymous block? Kanak is saying no. What about others? Ullas saying clear. Akansha saying no, no doubt. Okay, so yeah, so I don't think that these are very, I mean, straightforward syntaxes and very easy to work with actually. Okay, unfortunately, I couldn't show you the demo of this on Oracle database, but don't worry, we'll see that if Oracle is present tomorrow, we'll see the demo. Else, we will see all these things into MySQL. Okay, so yes, so that's all for today's session. Okay, let me stop the recording.